Find the value or values of x. I've got two intersecting lines, and these two angles that are across from each other, they're opposite from each other, these are vertical angles, and vertical angles are equal to each other. So I'm just going to set these two algebraic expressions equal to each other and then solve the equation. So the first one is 3x squared plus, thanks Ron, plus 10x, you messed up my pen, is equal to 23x minus 4. Just saying that these two guys have to be equal to each other. Now I'm going to notice that I have a quadratic equation, which I'll have to factor, so I'm going to get everything over here to the left-hand side. Bring down my 3x squared. I've got 10x, and I'm going to subtract the 23 over from it, so that's going to be a minus 13x, and then add the 4 over, so plus 4 equals 0. So now let's try to factor this guy. Open up our parentheses. Alright, so since 3x squared is basically prime, this needs to be a 3x and an x, so that when these get FOILed together, you get a 3x squared. Now, these two need to multiply up to 4. And I can either use 2 and 2, or I can use 4 and 1. I'm going to choose 4 and 1 because the middle term here has got to add up to a negative 13. So if I put the 4 opposite the 3x, if I put it opposite those so that when they get multiplied I'll have 12, and in the middle I can get one more for 13. Since this is a positive 4 and I'm adding up to a negative 13, both of these signs have to be negative, like so. Alright, and now I'm just going to set each of these equal to 0 and solve them like 3x minus 1 is equal to 0. I'd add the 1 over and divide by 3, so x is equal to a third. So there's one possibility for x. Or the other one, hey, I can also think of this as a shortcut, just flip the sign, x is lying to us, so x is equal to 4. Those are our two possible values of x. And you might think that, well, I don't know about this 1/3 thing because that's going to be too small of an angle if we're based on like what the actual angle looks like. But let's check it and see here. So if I plug these back in one at a time, I'm going to put it into the 23x minus 4 one. So 23 times a third minus 4, which I'll just punch into the calculator to get an approximation. And I'm going to get about, well, not about, I'm going to get 3.6 repeating degrees. And that thing looks a little bit more than 3 degrees, so I'm going to say, hey, that's kind of questionable there. It's unlikely. So if I try this 23 times 4 minus 4, 23 times 4 is going to give us 92, minus 4 more is going to give us 88 degrees. And that seems about reasonable since that looks almost like a right angle.